into another massive home match, last regular season match at home this year. How's the team kind of prepared this week as you look to take on, almost said Nashville? San Diego, sorry.
Well, I know you guys love the term must win, so I guess we can start using that. And it's massive game for us. Should be a good crowd. We want to send the fans home happy in a season that hasn't been that great at home, but we are focused and excited about the opportunity to still kind of push this conversation into the last weekend. We need some results, but we can't control any of that. What we can control is our performance and our preparation for San Diego.
Thanks for that. Start with Sergio.
Sure, yeah, Coach. You guys know San Diego beat them at their home. What do you remember about that game and of the performance they could bring over here as well?
Well, we were efficient in our chances, that's for sure. I mean, one was a transition moment, which is something that I think teams do have success against them. One was a kind of a wonder strike from Franco, a pretty rare wonder strike from a left back. But overall, I thought we did a good job of pressing at times, but also being resilient when we were in our mid-block and understanding some of the problems they posed. But they also scored a few goals against us, and it was a shootout. And that's usually not our recipe for how to have success. So, it's probably the balance is somewhere in between how we went out there and just looking forward. They're very good. I mean, they the way they impose their game plan on other teams, both home and away, is pretty impressive. And they've done a good job. When we were out there, it was an exciting new venture for the area, and I think the coaches they're really bought into what he's selling, and they've had a lot of success. So we'll be up against it at times, and we'll have to suffer as many teams do when they play a team that's committed to having the ball as much as they are. But the excitement level is there, and I think we have to be the more desperate team. They're not in the greatest form from a result standpoint as well. But again, I've watched the games, and the performance from them have still been at a really high level. And so we'll have to be at our best for sure.
Anything else, Sergio? Good. All right, we'll go to Rudy.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? We'll keep the term going here, I guess. Saturday, you mentioned it's a must-win, but how do you keep the team calm, but still play with urgency?
I don't know. You got any suggestions? For the most part, it's been business as usual. They know we don't have to double down on how important this game is. But, we get caught up a little bit in this game. And, we've been in this game for months. Right? We've been chasing this season for a while. So this just happens to be the next one and an opportunity that can keep us in the conversation, as I said. But they're fine. They're pros. They understand that they need to. We're going to need to be at our best, and I think that's a good starting point. And then preparing as best you can, and making sure there's a clear game plan for them to stick to, but also believe in, and that it's the right one. And I think the coaching staff has done a good job this week of identifying the strengths and weaknesses of the opponent, and trying to stop their strengths and exploit some areas where we think they're vulnerable. But they've got Dryers. They've got some individual players playing at a very, very high level, and certainly Lozano and Dryer are, I think, two of the scariest customers in town or in this league. They're up there with some of the nastiest players in this league, and week in, week out, they're putting really good performances on. So, but really, I think overall the feeling from the group is just excitement to get back home and try to stay in this thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Dreyer and Lozano, but you kind of already mentioned them. But this last game that you guys played San Diego, if my memory serves me correct, you guys did it without Jack McGlynn. You guys are going to do it again without Jack McGlynn. If you can just talk about his injury and obviously losing him for the rest of the season.
It's been it's been that type of year where, again, there's always been something working against us. And when I say we chase the year, that's what I mean. And right when we started to get level and have the full group, then it wasn't sustainable. And Jack is kind of the next part of that. And you guys don't mention Franco. He's been out for 2 months. And so that has been a challenge for us this year. And, I've talked about it. You guys know it. It's not an excuse. It's just reality. But I give the guys credit because we've used a lot of different people throughout the year, and we're still in the conversation. So this is next man up. Someone will fill in. And the good news of having guys like Jack Adams or having a revolving door of a starting lineup is everyone's seen a lot of minutes. So then the next guy up is going to have seen is very clear on what their role is with the team, and he's going to had enough minutes for his fitness levels to be high. So and Jack brings certain things to the table. We don't have a like for Jack. So the next guy in there allows us as a team to maybe do some things differently because of their attributes, because they have a different skill set that maybe can help us in a different way. So you kind of start to tweak maybe how you are in possession or out of possession without Jack, because he's a key piece. And we wish him the best of luck. We're thankful it's not a crazy injury. This is something that is pretty routine, and he popped a screw in there, and he'll be back in a few months and ready to roll for preseason. It doesn't keep him out of, to me, it doesn't keep him out of, the national team discussion. It's an important time for him now to work on, I think, his physicality. I think there's a good time for him to get stronger and get in the weight room and push some other areas of him that can kind of help him get to the next level.
And I don't want to ask you about tactics, as I know we never do, but your last meeting, Anali was a big impact, and I guess do you see him and even someone like Linger that just got called up to the national team, having or helping tilt the game your way again?
Well, we're always going to try to take what other teams give us, and but what is your question? Are we going to try to use Anali's speed and 1v1 ability and his ability to get behind, and Linger's running in behind, and Griffin at times? Yes, that's part of every game plan, no matter what, because you don't get the supportive stuff without the threats behind, and so just finding that balance for us has been, it changes game to game, but Lawrence single-handedly gives us an element that we haven't had, frankly, in 2.5 years. A real an ability to get behind with real juice and some 1v1 ability. So that's he's helped in the offensive production since he's come back. Linger being in the 10 has given us more box occupation and second line runs, so that helps. And again, Jack is a different animal than whether it's Linger over there, whether it's Amin over there, whether it's Dwayne. We have Kowalczyk. We have a lot of different options to play there, but all with different characteristics. And it's what's right for us. It's what's right for to go against this opponent.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck tomorrow.
Anyone else on Zoom? There you go. Armand, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, just one quick one. Brooklyn Reigns playing a huge role for the national team in the World Cup, taking down France 2-0. Just your comments on this performance.
Yeah, how cool is that, right? I mean,
That's awesome.
We talk about Brooklyn's development has been, from a coaching standpoint, there's a few joys in this job, and one of them is to watch kids that you have seen for a few years develop and get into the first team, and now start consistently, and now have some success on the international stage, and everyone at this club loves Brooklyn and has been invested in some way in trying to get him to where he's at right now. And a lot of people have done a lot more work with Brooklyn, believe me, than me or the coaching staff currently. So this has been an ongoing process. Houston Dynamo has not had a lot of guys that have gone through this pathway. We truly believe that there's more Brooklyn's coming through the Dynamo and the Academy. There's been, I think, a kind of a revamping of everything, and I'm constantly engaged in that, or at least watching the development pathway and some of this talent coming through, and it's an exciting time. But there hasn't been a lot of Brooklyns to this point, and that's something that I know is important to Ted and Pat and the club in general. So it's great to see, and he's such a great kid, and the team also. I'm also a fan of the United States of America and the national team in these tournaments. I've been in the under-20, so I'm also just a fan of the team, and I hope they continue to progress. They're through to the next round, and it's a good team though, and there's a lot of they have personality. They obviously play well. I think they're coached well. They've got a good way they're going about the games. I think they're set up to have success that way, but they also have some moxie to them. And I think I've seen young national teams in the past, and they just didn't have that. Just looking at that, there's a certain swagger that this team has that I appreciate.
The one write-in, actually, believe it or not, Jesus is having a couple connection issues, so he asked me to ask you to assess Jack's growth as a player from when he joined the team until now.
I just think it's a different role for him, and I think he's been more. He's given more responsibility, on the offensive end. Defensively, he's who he is, and we keep pushing that part, and some of that is the physicality and speed, and that's where I talk about this 3 months to really kind of enhance him. Physically, but he's always going to be a guy that is an offensive string puller, the left foot, the set pieces, and we deciding to get him higher up the field was new for him, and also the responsibility for him to be an offensive guy who produces points for us. It just, in general, overall, more responsibility on the offensive end. So that's been good. I think that's been good for him. I think he's handled it overall in the right way. And he's, again, another young, great kid that we're excited about trying to help develop.